I don't know where I'm live at. Okay, now we're supposed to be live in the group. So now let me go in the group and go make sure that we are indeed live in the Unlock Your First Six Figures in Revenue with Shay Cannon group, which I'm going to change the name in just a little while to Unlock Your First Six Figures in Business is what I think it should say. Oh, I don't see us. Okay, I see us. I see. Well, no, I don't see us. Yes, it says we're live. Well, isn't this just a great day before I catch the flight? I can't see us. Ah, there we go. There we go. I found us. I think my internet just had to catch up. But welcome to the Unlock Your First Six Figures in Business morning show. I am Shay Cannon, your host, an award-winning fractional chief operating officer. And guess what? This morning show is all about us continuing the 10 minutes or less blog talk from the rooftop, right? And so we're going to go deeper into the conversation for have guests, which makes it a morning show. So welcome to Demetra and Z, who are here with me on the Zoom to be guests of the morning show. Now, what we're talking about this week is pricing and the problem that a lot of entrepreneurs have with pricing. But no worries, we're talking about more than just problems. We're giving you answers, right? We're all about giving you transformational information for your business growth. What would it be if we just gave you the problem and no answer? Now let's backtrack a little bit, okay? So on Monday, what we talked about was your fear is a problem for your pricing. You guys are out here underpricing yourselves for different reasons, and we gave you some reasons and we gave you some solutions. And then on yesterday, we talked about you're having problems showing the value to justify the price that you want to charge. And so that is a problem with your pricing. But today, what we're talking about is you're having a problem with your profit margin. That means your price is not high enough, okay, to cover your expenses and leave enough of a profit so that the business is paying for all the expenses or paying for itself and paying you, right? Who's in business not to get paid? I need y'all to stop that, right? I'm gonna tell you, one of my favorite books is Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I think I said his last name right. But basically, you're starting with your profit first. You pay yourself first, right? Then you pay your expenses, and then you pay this, and then you pay that. So guess what you got to do? If you want to be able to cover those expenses, you got to come up with all the money. So you need to price your stuff right. Okay, so I love profit first, but your profit margin. So picking pricing out of the air, okay, without knowing or considering your expenses is a no-no. It's a no-no. You don't even know what your profit margin is. And let's talk about profit, because just because we're bringing in revenue does not mean we're profitable. Okay, it does not mean we're profitable. So profit is the revenue that you bring in minus the expenses that you need to be in business to provide your service. Okay, what's left is the profit. So eventually, right, we do definitely want you to reach your first six figures in business, but don't we want to have six figures in profit as a milestone too, right? So 6 figures in business, just a milestone, not the ceiling, okay? But you definitely have to talk about your costs. Now, there are two different types of costs when you're talking about expenses to your business. You have direct costs, and those are the costs that you directly are impacting how you service people. Okay, it directly impacts how you service people. So you already know I need to use this software. I got to have this equipment, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing, because that's what you need to directly service. But you cannot forget about the indirect costs, and that is the cost of doing business, right? So some of you have administrative costs. You have these monthly memberships and all of these things that help you stay in business. The technology that helps you stay in business. You're not supposed to just eat that cost. That has to be reflected in your pricing also. The business should be paying for that also, okay? And so that's why it's a problem if you don't know what your costs are and you're not wrapping it into the price that you're charging people, because now you don't know what your profit margin is, or even if you have one, that is definitely a problem, okay? And so the solution, let's get to the solution. The solution to not knowing what your profit margin is or not having enough is, number one, have a service with multiple transformational phases, okay? And milestones, okay? Those services, they're a little harder to price because it has all of these things. So what you can do when you have those phases is you can pull out the phases and charge per phase, right? Or if you want to give an all-inclusive price, know what the per phase charge is, right? That makes it easier. But when we have this service that has everything in it and a kitchen sink, it's kind of hard to catch up with or keep up with what exactly is our expense. Break it down. Break it down. All right. Another way is you can have low, medium, and high pricing as a result of breaking things down. Because let me tell you how you can break it down. You can break things down from like beginning, in the middle of the transformation, in the end of the transformation. Therefore, you can kind of price that, right? You can break things down with getting people ready for the transformation. This is how much the transformation is, and then this is how we support you after the transformation. There are different ways you can break things down that can kind of help you with this pricing. So it's kind of like what they say about how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. We can price this thing one phase at a time to kind of make sure we're encompassing all the expenses that have to do with being in business and providing the service. All right. So that's our little recap and our little added value. So I'm going to start with Demetra. What do you think about that information? Was it helpful? Do you have anything you want to add? And do you have any questions about how to apply it to your business, Demetra?
Good morning, everyone. Shay, I do not have any questions. It was very clear. Okay. I am going to go back and look at my pricing besides, the cost of the rental space and the internet. I need to really consider those monthly or yearly subscriptions that help with the business. So I need to look at that today. Thank you.
Yes. So did you realize when I was talking that there are a lot of costs that you're just eating because you didn't consider it for your profit margin? Yeah.
Correct. It was the monthly thing, the monthly or the yearly subscription. So like your Calendly, Convert Kit, I didn't think of that. Yes.
Cool beans. I love it. I love it. Next, we're going to go. Morning, Z. What did you think about the information? Was it helpful? Did you have anything you wanted to add? And do you have any questions on how to apply it to your business?
I didn't have anything to add, but I thought it was very useful for me because when I first started the introduction of my game, I was just thinking a low introductory price, but I didn't shipping costs and some other things. And then two, I've done some research. If I want to go on Amazon, I can't sustain myself at the rate that I was going. So I have to really add up all the cost that's associated with it. And so, I'm still working on that part, Shay. So I know that, some tips from you as far as doing that with my type going into the game industry.
Say that again. I'm sorry. What was the last thing you said, Z?
What tidbit can you offer me, someone who's going into the game industry? Like,
so what I'm going to say is a lot of people forget to wrap in the cost of their marketing, and that includes going to expos and vending places. That includes travel. That includes everything you're doing to get the word out and exposure and awareness about your game. So I'm going to say, don't forget those expenses because our business is supposed to reimburse all of that. Now, When we are first starting out, our business is most likely not profitable. Most businesses are not. However, you still need to be in the habit of keeping an accounting of all of these expenses so that you know how far away you are from being profitable, right? So that you know how long can you sustain the business with your personal capital, or is it time to go out there and get more capital? Is it time to bring in a partner? Is it time to get a capital loan from one of your payment processors? Is it time to get a venture capitalist involved? So you need to keep up with your expenses and the cost of doing business so that you know before you go underwater, right? So I'm going to say, especially with the game, I'm going to tell you, most people with physical products, the number one problem for them in business is capital, because they have to keep getting enough product in to sell it. Okay. And the problem with products is you have to buy more to save on the price of the product that you're buying wholesale so that you make more profit on the back end. And guess what? The more you buy, the more money you need to buy it, the more room you need to store it. Right. And so it just has these problems with these product-based businesses. But you just look out for them and you try to anticipate them and you try to keep an eye on them and you try to decide what is going to be the solution for it before you go too far underwater. So that's what I'm going to say. Because product-based businesses are different. In some ways, they're easier to kind of understand what the profit margin is. But when you're first starting, it's not as easy because you're doing so many things to get people to know about that game that you're not considering that that's a business expense and that you're not getting paid from that from your business. So that's what I would have to say about that. Did you need a follow-up to that?
Oh, no, that was great.
Cool beans, cool beans. Well, Heather has joined us and on camera. Thank you, Heather. So Heather, what did you think about
doing this? I didn't think you were doing this. You said yesterday that you were going to be traveling.
I am. As soon as I get off, I told you.
Oh, you were like, I'm going to record it.
Like, look, you see, look at this backpack, right? Well,
I can't see it. Oh, there it is on the bar.
There you go. Okay. Look, my image is not mirrored, so I feel retarded. Trying to or crazy. I feel crazy. So what did you think about the information? Did you have anything that you wanted to add, or did you have any questions about how to apply it to your business?
I have, yes, I have a question.
Okay.
So when you are considering all the things that you need to run the business, right? The platforms, I have QuickBooks and HoneyBook and Active Campaign, whatever. I'm sure there's at least 2 more in there somewhere. Zoom, right? Like
yes, all the things,
right? So when you're thinking about that, plus then you're thinking about, I know you have to have internet in your house because that's no longer like the pandemic taught us that the internet is not a luxury. That is a utility, no different than electricity and gas, right?
Exactly.
And I know you can deduct parts of that, with your taxes and blah, blah, blah. I don't do my own taxes, to be clear, because that would be banana pants. But my question is, if you have all these operational expenses and your price is competitive, how do you square raising your price so that you can, like you were talking about yesterday, I think? No, yesterday I missed. What is today? Wednesday?
Yes.
Oh, Christ. Monday. You were talking about how you can, if your price is too low, you have to have so many clients because, to reach, but if you have a higher price point, fewer, right? Work less, make more.
Yes.
How do you square all of that to make sense?
How do you justify having a higher price?
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer to that was yesterday, Tuesday, right? You have to know how to show the value of the offer. Okay. You have to show the value of the offer. People don't pay a higher price just because you need a higher price to cover your costs. They pay a higher price because they have bought into the value of the offer, right? And so you have to speak in transformation and not features. But also, if you guys have read the book $100 Million Offer by Alex Hormozy, or even One to Many by Jason Flatland, what you know is those bonuses can be the key to your pricing, right? because people can't compare you one-on-one to somebody else that does the same service that you do when you have these bonuses that are hard for them to value. So they have to take your word for what the value is, right? So again, one of the biggest problems I see with us as service-based businesses, because we don't have a product and it's not very clear how much it costs us to provide the service, we tend to underprice it. But also what happens is we also tend to throw things in there because we think they need it, because we care, because we want to make sure they're successful. Yeah. So you not only have you underpriced, but you're giving more for that low price, right? So this is what I want y'all to remember. When you have an offer of a service, what I want you to do is the service itself should be the simple path to get from A to B to what they're paying for only. Okay. That's it. Just the bare bones of what they're paying for. That's what the service is. All that other stuff y'all keep putting in because you care and because you think it would be great and because you know they're going to need it later, those are bonuses. Okay. So pull them out of the offer and have them on the side as bonuses. And these bonuses are going to help you to justify the fact that your price doesn't look like this other person's price. Now, if you want to list, so that's Alex Hormozy, bonuses. But Jason Flatland goes further. He said the key to how he sold things on his webinars was his bonuses were perceived to be more valuable than the offer.
Yes. Now
remember that?
I took that to heart.
Let me tell you how that creates urgency, though. When you know something is a bonus and it's hugely valuable and it's more valuable than the offer, you want to hurry up and get that while that's still a bonus. You don't know how long that's going to be a bonus. But if you have these things hidden in your plan, number one, most people don't even know what all they're going to get in that plan. You've chocked so much stuff in there, you don't even talk about it, right? Number two, if you pull that stuff out and make them bonuses and people know I need that, they know bonuses can change. Your core offer is less likely to change. Your bonuses can change, right? So if you put some of that value into the bonuses, it creates urgency because I want all of that. If I got to pay this price anyway for the service and you're telling me I can get these bonuses, I want the bonuses. Let me hurry up and pay my money so that I get the bonuses rather than just paying for the offer. Does that make sense?
It does. And so this is a question that goes way off topic, so forget it. Well,
I don't know. Ask the question.
Okay. I question whether or not, because AI for content creation now is so prevalent.
Yes.
If the things that I could offer as bonuses are truly as valuable as I perceive them to be because AI is available.
Okay, great question. I'm so glad that you asked it, okay? Because I need you to stop doing what you did before when AI first came on the scene and you villainized it, right? Because as a writer, you felt like it's gonna try to replace me. So I want you to get out of that mind frame and guess what? Now you create bonuses that include AI. Make it easier to use the AI for different things as a bonus, right? Because there is a lot of people out here that give away chat GPT prompts and all of this stuff, but who's doing it specifically for the book industry?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You see what I'm saying? So that's a great bonus, right? Lean into it. You can't run from it. It's here. It's not going anywhere. Yeah. And it can't replace you because what people don't understand is all of these AI writers are actually writers' tools. They're actually not tools for people who don't know how to write because trash in, trash out. Write a writer, so you don't even know what to put in. Right. So what you're getting back out is some crazy stuff. People can tell. And it's so funny because it ain't even been that popular that long and people can already tell when your stuff been generated by AI. And they don't respect that at all. Okay, so let's be clear.
You're right. No, so, you are absolutely right. I was already kind of thinking that, but I needed some external validation.
Yes. Well, there's your look, voila, little magic for you. Validation. There you go. All
Shawana
right.
is beautiful today, darling.
We got Shawana in the house, and Shawana, the problem with pricing we've been talking about today has to do with profit margin, because a lot of us service-based businesses are not putting all the costs into our price. So we have direct costs that directly impact the service. You know, we have to pay for this and that to supply the service. However, there are indirect costs. Your administrative stuff, your monthly stuff, your yearly stuff, your overhead, right? That still has to be wrapped into the cost, because we should not be paying for the business should be paying for itself. If you are unaware of all of these things, how are you going to wrap it in and one day become profitable? Because profit comes after all of your expenses. So basically, Shawana, would you like to add anything to that? Did you have any questions about that, especially about how to apply it to your business?
Good morning to all. For me, that is definitely something that I had to, when I thought about and was thinking about listening at you, because I did catch a little bit of you on Facebook. It was going back, having the flashback of the pricing, thinking about, like you said before, the confidence pricing, things like that. Just now, even thinking about when you was talking about the bonuses. One of the things that I have discovered, I'll use, for example, a real life right now. I am in today writing up a contract because I'm about to do someone else's website. So listening at the things that you're saying, and it makes me laugh, because you do have business owners who, of course, now they are understanding the value of a website, right? But then they could have been in business for years, but they have not been taking any photos. They don't have any ad copy. They don't have none of that. So I had to stop, the whole confidence pricing. And then with all of the back end work that I know that I was doing, creating the copy, taking the pictures, because I am graphics, I'm the person that, one of the bonuses for some of my clients, if I'm in the same state that you're in, I come and take a picture because I know what I need to see coming out of you, right? So now I have looped that into their annual packaging, their annual pricing. I put that in. So having these conversations, I'm telling you, it let me know that I'm definitely on the right track. Because when I ask you certain questions and you can't give me the answer, and I say, well, I still can help them, but that means that's more work I'm going to have to do. And you talked about the tier. Now, for me, I was thinking about the tiers, and I said, like, for example, a website, that's the maintenance. Or if I'm going to give and go beyond, I might include like their first blog for free. But then that's also me thinking about another tiered service to saying, this is why you need to have a blog on your website. I'll tease you with the first one. So thinking about those things, is there anything else that I can add as a tier, even when I'm thinking about a website?
So I think you're skipping a tier, right? So what you just told me was, most people starting with your service aren't ready to start with your service. So the first tier is a prep tier. Let me get all the things that you need to actually have me to develop this website. Because developing a website is all about putting the graphics and the copy where they belong and designing the page. Developing a website is not writing your copy and taking your pictures and creating your graphics. You see what I'm saying? And so all of that stuff that you have to do on the front end, that's like a preparatory package. Let me get you ready. Everything you need to get ready, that's phase 1 or phase 0, if you want to say that, right? So if I have to come out to your business, or better yet, hey, a part of the phase 1 is send me pictures of your business. I want this picture, that picture, you know what I'm saying? Because it needs to be rinse and repeat as possible. The problem y'all get into when customizing all of these things is now you may be outdoing your profit margin because you're doing things unintentionally. You're doing things in a way that's taking longer. You're not doing things the same way twice. You see what I'm saying? This is where we get in trouble with pricing these services. This is where we get in trouble because product-based businesses, they know what the wholesale price of that product is every time, right? a service business and we're charging from our brain and for our expertise, and we don't have anything to quantify it by. And so we start doing all of these extra things that we think or not thinking about, but it's our time. It's still coming out of our brain. It still should be charged for. Right? And so you can have this front end part that gets them ready. Then you have the actual part of doing the website, the design, that's inserting, visuals and inserting copy and designing the layout. That's what the website design is. And that's all it is, right? Putting in links, making sure buttons work. Okay. Adding in your lead magnet, right? But over here on the prep side, you can create the lead magnet. But on the design side, they should already have the lead magnet. All you're doing is connecting it up, possibly, right? Okay, then your third phase, or we're gonna say phase 2, if we started with phase 0, phase 1, phase 2 is now the maintenance. I've already done everything to design it. Now I'm gonna maintain your website. So does that make sense? And see what it does is it allows you to take a deeper look at one phase to make sure you're covering your costs of everything that you're doing. But if you just look at it all together, you're going to lose some stuff. So yeah, I hope that was helpful.
No, it that's why I wanted to ask you, because I'm definitely doing all of that.
Yes.
Also, because I've had individuals, even where it comes to the maintenance part, because I know you're a person that be like, well, because I know your maintenance package, we really can't do that right now. I add in what it would cost me just to show you a couple of things on the back end, because of course, that's not what we're doing. If you want to change out a picture because you're a church and y'all changing out your flyer for the month, I add in that time for me just saying, hey, y'all, you got to do is go in here, change the picture, don't be doing nothing.
So I'm not teaching them anything, so stop it. Because that's a part of the maintenance package. You see what I'm saying? You want your picture changed out? This is a part of the maintenance package. I'll change out this number of pictures every month.
But that's what I'm saying. So for one of my larger packages, it's me knowing what they paid for the service. So me understanding them, and that's where I know you'll fuss, you fuss.
Yeah, I'm about to fuss now because I just gave you the phases. So if they pay for the service, that's phase 1. If we're out of phase 1, then you got to pay again. The service is me creating your website. If your website is created and you need something else, you're now in phase 2, knowing that prep phase is phase 0. So phase 2 has its own cost. So you're over there doing extra work and not getting paid for it. And that's why you're blowing your profit margin. Because we don't look at it as service-based businesses as blowing the profit margin or an expense, because we just think, let me just go ahead and do this for them. No, sweetie, there's a cost to that. There's a value to that. They should be charged for that. Yeah. So, stop it.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn my mic off then, y'all.
All right, no problem. Love you. All right, we got Ashley Long Washington in the building. Now, Ashley, I know you came on kind of late, but you've been in business a while. So all I'm going to do is ask you, tell me your thoughts around profit margins, especially as a service-based business. Because what we've basically been saying is service-based businesses aren't keeping a profit margin in mind. They're over here providing these services, eating all of these expenses, not, giving all of this value and not charging for it. And therefore, they don't even know what their profit margin is. And if they were to calculate it, they don't have a profit. So what would you like to say about that, Miss Ashley?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm not turning my camera on because I don't have to work until late, and I stayed in the bed this morning, so I'm still in my PJs.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
But I have to kind of piggyback on what you just said. As I'm developing and writing out my coaching program, I actually started working on a calculator for service-based business, because I'm a therapist, and we always giving away our stuff for free, because that's like the nature of our job, is to help. So we're always helping for free. I'm always on a call giving away, letting somebody pick my brain. So I definitely agree that we're always giving away our stuff for free. We charge way too little per hour for the life-changing advice that we give out. And so I am working on a calculator actually for my program where it's like, hey, let's see how much this stuff really costs you, how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into this program, where you only want to charge people $1,000 for a year access to.
Yes, Lord. You almost made me pass out. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And again, us service-based business owners, we have such a heart for people. And so we just want to help at the core of things. We want to be of service. However, we have a business. And so that service has a price attached to it, and we have to charge that price. All right, Dr. Tachi, you have a service-based business, and your service-based business have a lot of expensive ass equipment associated with the service that you give. So what would you like to say around service-based businesses and the profit margin and how much they're not charging? And so they have no idea that they're not actually having a profit margin or a profit margin that's desirable for any business in business.
Yes, it's really easy. I shouldn't say easy, but it's easier when there is a product and, you know, I paid X for this, and therefore I need to make or charge X in order to get the money back for that and then make some profit. So the math is easier. When it is you, there's no necessarily hard and fast rule when it comes to what you charge. There is industry standard, but then there may be things that are outside of the standard that apply to you. So how do you do that? So the interesting thing that I do is I'm like, first of all, I've already decided I don't want to come and do production for anybody. You know, I can, but if I have to come out to you, you're going to pay for it, because not only are you paying for me, my time, like paying myself, you're also renting my equipment. So I've tacked on the equipment rental to that. It's like, it doesn't just automatically come with me. I'm also factoring in, you're renting my equipment because I'm putting wear and tear on it when I do have to come out. It's also the fact that gas that I'm coming out to and the travel time that I'm coming out to you. So best that I do this from a distance for you. But even then, there are costs associated with it, and that's what we used to do. If I had to come out to you, it was going to be that much more. But the uphill battle in video production and film and everything is that there have been so many people who have undercharged, and there are so many people who don't value it because they think they can do it, that they think it's supposed to be worth $200 for 500 hours of video stuff. Have you gone mad? So it's crazy, because the thing is also, that's in the arts and creative fields in general. They think that that stuff is supposed to be free. They have part of the problem. It's good, but it's also problematic that there are internship programs where, you know, interns do many of these things, and it's then, oh, okay, well, I'll just get an intern, which is good. But then you don't also realize you're not supposed to give an intern things that you would pay for unless you're going to pay them. And so the whole industry is kind of muddled. So I would say to that is, think of yourself, you kind of have to quantify yourself like a product, factor in your experience. I have a PhD, you're going to pay for that. So factor in any trainings that you have had that go above and beyond, factor in anything that is outside of, I'm just coming to shoot for you. That's for people in video, but that can work for a lot of things.
Love it. Thank you for the value add. I love that. I love that. Well, we've reached the time where we got 8 minutes to the hour. So does anybody have any question, whether it be about your pricing, any question about your business, any question at all before we get out of here today? Any questions? Because you know, I'm about to hop on an airport shuttle too. I can get up out of here. Heather, you might want to put the link to your writing room inside the broadcast. I want to remind you guys, Shawana, put your stuff inside the comments of the broadcast. If you just put it on the wall, it will get deleted. So put it inside. And that is because I don't mind my old school people putting things on the wall, but we're growing the community. And I can't have new people who have not given the value that you guys have given, putting things on the wall. So put it in the comments of the broadcast.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All righty. So since there are no questions, I'm going to let you guys have a great day. I will be on tomorrow to close out the week. You just will not have this fabulous background because I'm about to get off of here right now and hop on an airport shuttle and hit the United States for, a day or 2 or 3 or too many. And so I'll be broadcasting from a different location. It's usually a flat white wall, so get ready for it. And so I'll see you guys tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. And then we'll close out the week on these problems with pricing. So y'all have a great day and I'll see you in the morning.
Fly safe.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.